Imagine waking up for your first day of work at a new job. You are so excited. You get there and you discover that it's boring and monotonous, but at least it's a job. And furthermore, you've promised your entire family that with your first paycheck, you're taking them out to dinner. Now imagine you get that first paycheck. You open it and you see that it is for a grand total of 35 cents. This actually happened to a woman in Ohio, according to the National Council on Disability. And it could happen to somebody that you care about, to a parent, to a sibling, or it could happen to your child. This could happen because of a law that allows sub-minimum wage payment to individuals with disabilities. Now, this is an issue that came to my attention a few years ago, and I followed closely because of the absurdity of it. Every article I read led to another and another, all covering the abuses of Section 14C of the Fair Labor Standards Act. After explaining how this law came to be, the past of it, where it is used in the present, how it is misused, and what could replace it in the future, I think that you will agree that the time has come to end sub-minimum wage payment for disabled individuals under Section 14C. The Fair Labor Standards Act became law in 1938. This law covers things such as how much to pay for overtime, it regulates child labor, and it set the national federal minimum wage, amongst other things. During the hearings that this law was discussed, a provision was added that allowed for substandard workers to be paid less than the federal national minimum wage, and sometimes much, much less. There was no lower limit set. This rule became Section 14C. Soon after this law's implementation, some people began to exploit this law and use it to justify paying certain parties less than they deserved on the basis of reasons such as skin color or what part of the country they were from. And this use of the law was outlawed. The original intention of Section 14C was very good. The goal was to encourage businesses to hire injured soldiers coming back from war so they could be reacclimated to the working world. They would work segregated from non-disabled employees in what they called sheltered workshops until they were ready for reintegration. Businesses were given incentives to hire these soldiers by being allowed to pay them less than their non-disabled coworkers on a per-piece basis. So essentially, if a non-disabled person could create 5 widgets in 1 hour at $5 an hour, a disabled employee would be paid $1 per widget, regardless of how long it took. So as you can see, even with the best intentions, 14C was flawed from its inception. Now, years of misuse have led to workers with disabilities being trapped in job programs that exploit their labor in dead-end jobs. According to the GOA, only 5% of those that go into sheltered work programs go on to attain jobs that pay competitive wages in a fully integrated work environment. Furthermore, 50% of workers under 14C earn less than $2.50 an hour. Proponents of 14C claim that eliminating sheltered work programs would threaten the well-being of certain disabled individuals because they would lose their jobs. But even those who support the law, in some cases, are changing their mind. Catherine Lehman of the Civil Rights Commission told NPR, "I was ashamed at how we operated, now over 8 decades, with a federal assumption that people with disabilities are less capable of full employment." So there are some individuals who it would be impossible for them to fully integrate into a non-segregated work environment. And there's a debate over if sheltered workshops are beneficial to these individuals, or if they should go into rehabilitation programs that offer social and skill-building activities. A handful of states in 2021 have already done away with sub-minimum wage pay jobs for people with disabilities. There have been pushes to remove 14C from law for decades, and they've always been met with resistance from the employers who benefit from this law. Many workers with disabilities propose replacing the current law with employment first programs. According to the ACAN, an employment first is the idea that people with disabilities should be able to get real work for real pay. It's the belief that all citizens, including those with disabilities, are capable of meaningful employment. Employment first programs would achieve their goals using means such as providing incentives for employers through subsidies and tax breaks, and using job coaches and other community support to assist individuals in the acquisition and maintaining of these jobs. There are a number of senators on both political parties who support the Transformation to Competitive Integrated Employment Act that would end 14C and replace it with programs that would help transition people with disabilities to meaningful jobs for fair wages. To many people, a job is more than just a source of income. It's a way for them to define themselves, to feel like they're contributing to society. Section 14, in its current state, inhibits thousands of US citizens from achieving their full career goals. So we can see how 14C started with great intentions at its inception, how it came to be misused in present times, and what could possibly replace it in the future. Through Employment First, we can put people in front of their disabilities. If that sounds good to you, please take a minute to write your local congressperson and ask them to support the Transformation to Competitive Integrated Employment Act. Thank you.